Hey, what's up, Exit the Matrix? Bob here. Hey, sorry guys, I haven't done a video for a couple days here. We've had soccer going on and had a couple days off work, so I've been spending some time with the family and just didn't have the opportunity to cut some new videos. So, but I have been a lot better this year. I've been producing about at least 3 to 4 videos a week. I'd like to get that up to a daily video every day. There's plenty of subject. I basically, there's never an end to the stuff that I can essentially talk about, because our world is in absolute chaos right now, and we're watching the fall of the world structure. We're watching everything all the cards being reshuffled right now, and it seems as if our own government's selling us out. They are absolutely criminals. They are part of a cult, a globalist cult, and they are committing treason on a daily basis anymore. And the Constitution is essentially defunct at this point. And yes, I'm speaking about the United States because I do live here. I realize I have a lot of followers and subscribers, throughout the world. Pretty heavy in the UK and Australia, I would say, and a decent amount in India also. But essentially 70% of my subscribers and followers are in the United States alongside me, so that's why a lot of my videos are focused on that. But as you know, the way that America goes, it has major ripple effects throughout the world. If America collapses, the Western countries collapse, Europe, and a lot of the Asian countries that are heavily tied in with the United States collapse also. So, the United States is losing power quickly, is being really tested by BRICS, and BRICS continues to grow, and the dollar continues to die and overinflate. And as we see that happen, there's going to be more and more chaos throughout the world, because the people that rule the United States do not care about the United States or its people or its laws. They do not care about humanity at all. They're psychopaths. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. It takes a certain mentality of a person to want to rule over other people. It's a certain mentality of people that want to have control and power over others. In our spirit forms, in our true essence, human beings, we are not like that. We are, for one, in the other world, we manifest everything that we need. We do not need to take from our neighbors or from foreign groups of beings. Everything is provided for. But in this world, we fight and wrestle over resources, over power, and all these things. Well, it just so happens that there's a percentage of humanity that have absolutely no empathy for anything or anybody. And they have just a drive in them. And I question sometimes if these are even human spirits, or if these are some type of other, from another realm or dimension type beings that are using human avatars. Because what we are watching right now, people, is just absolute lawlessness, absolute treason, absolute chaos. And it's so deep right now. I don't know if people really realize how deep this is. I mean, this reaches down into all of our religious, structures, into all the way down through our governments, all the way, it's totally rotten at the federal level. But those tendrils have gone all the way down, even into your county positions, your city and town positions, into your school board positions. Anywhere where there's a place where people can have influence and control over others, and where they can make deals to enrich themselves at the expense of others, where they can still cheat, lie, destroy, and dismiss people, if you get my drift. These people fight and claw for those positions because psychopaths, they crave the control over others, over situations. They crave the power, and they revel in chaos. Where most of us regular people, when we come to Earth, we come here to learn, to experience duality, and perhaps this insane dark side of duality that we're experiencing is part of that experience we signed up for, perhaps. But things are definitely shaken up. Some recent revelations that have come forth, and a lot of it's actually coming from Tucker Carlson. Love him or hate him, you need to see some of these interviews that he's having. These are bringing up deep things. He was talking to a State Department guy, and he was explaining how the military-industrial complex, the Pentagon, is actually the main player involved in censoring Americans on social media, on messing with who we decide who rules our country. If you get my drift, that's something they love to censor. And what you put in your body, and mixtures that are in your body, they're involved in that censorship. So we have an institution that it was basically created to protect us. And they're so corrupt that all their weapons that all their games they've been playing with other countries for the last 60, 70 years, starting conflicts in other countries, starting color revolutions, rebellions, overthrowing governments, deciding whose people would be choosing for their country to lead, and all these other things. Arming, FFs, if you get my drift. Now they've turned all that on the United States because nobody wants their BS anymore in the world. And they've eaten everything they could outside of us, and now they're turning in and they're going to eat us out. These people, they're sick, disgusting traitors. And I guarantee a lot of you have them in your family. Or there might be perhaps a few listening here. You would be willing to do anything immoral. And I'm not talking about policies and procedures and dictates and all this bullshit. No. A lot of you justify what you do because, there's a policy that says I'm working around it. No, fuck you. You know what's right and what's wrong. I don't give a shit what the laws are on the books. Let's be real. Our judicial system is corrupt also. It protects the psychopaths against the rest of us. There is no justice in the United States anymore. The military that was supposed to protect the United States has gotten tired of its wars in other countries, and now it's turning it on the United States. Those same weapons. We are being censored by our federal government. We are being censored by tech companies, by corporations. We are being censored by our military. We are under attack, people, and it's from within. The enemy is within the gates. It's a cult of people. It's a cult of psychopaths. They hate you. They hate your children. They hate everything. They're immoral. They will do anything to gain power and money and control. And there is absolutely nothing positive they do for society. There is absolutely nothing positive they do for the world. And this is what happens when you allow unfettered military expansion in a nation. When you pour trillions of dollars into defense, but yet your own infrastructure crumbles. when you pour trillions of dollars into foreign wars that absolutely has no positive effect on the people of that nation, when you go and steal others' resources, when you go and use your dollar as a weapon against other nations that have been, basically, that's what props the United States up, is the dollar. And they use the dollar as a weapon now. And that's why BRICS formed. That's why BRICS will overtake the dollar. And right now you're seeing a sinking ship, and all these assholes are laundering as much money as they can with a overinflated, dying dollar before the ship sinks. And their asses are going to buy houses in other countries, and they're going to bail. Because these psychopaths don't care, people. They don't even care about their own extended families. They only care about themselves. That's it. These people are sick. And we need to start figuring out who these people are and rooting them out and calling them out and dealing with them. We got to get them out of our system. They're poison in the well. And I realize the United States is not the only corrupt government. Look, all governments are corrupt, people. The only good that you can do with government is to limit it to the smallest, most controlled level possible. In the United States, we lost control of our government 100 plus years ago. After the Civil War, basically, people. That's when this country moved away from what it was. And it became a corporation. And the central bankers moved in. So, I guarantee you, a lot of you are living right now thanks to your income, your livelihood is part of this. So you are part of it. And I don't give a shit what you got to say about, I have to make money on the stock market. I need to build up my retirement. You know what, people? When the dollar collapses, your 401k and your stocks aren't worth shit. What do you not understand about that? When this great reset happens and we go to the digital dollar, you lose everything. There's got to be a transition period where all the banks collapse, where your dollar is worth nothing. Your 401k, you sold your country out for some dollars. You fight and you protect and you work for psychopaths. And you know it. And you were maybe one of them. You poisoned our kids. You poisoned our water. You poisoned our air. You poisoned our medicine. You poisoned our minds. And you were part of it. If you worked for any of these corporations, media, unless you were one of the few speaking out, which I guarantee most of you weren't, because you didn't want to lose your job, your security, your retirement savings. People, what the fuck does any of that have to do if you're living in a third world shithole, a collapsed country? Huh? What does any of that have to do? What is any of that at that point? I think what we learned from Tucker was that Putin was willing to be a friend of the United States. Am I saying he's a good guy? No, he's a strongman, just like all these people. But he's one of the few strongmen in the world that actually cares about his country and his countrymen. We don't have that in the United States. We have a bumbling pile of shit that's a fucking puppet criminal. And everybody playing this whole game around him, they're all a bunch of fucking psychopaths. And they are destroying, they're reveling in the destruction of this country. They've been working real hard for many years to get this, to get their friends in high places, if you get my meaning. And what we're watching, people, is the collapse, and we're watching just constant money laundering. Because these politicians are laundering as much money as they possibly can, as fast as they can, because they know that the dollar's dead and this is all collapsing. They're going to get their money as quick as they can. They're going to switch it into real estate, into silver and gold, into Bitcoin, into assets that are actually worth something. And They're dumping that's all they're doing with the dollar. While it's still worth something, they're getting their hands on as many millions as they can, and then that way they can switch it over to real assets. That's exactly what's going on, people. And I guarantee you've got family members, you've got friends, and perhaps some of you are part of this system, and you work for these corporations that are doing this. You work for government agencies that are doing this. You are, hell, if you're one of these that are all proud, my sons and daughters is a Marine or an Army or Navy. Those are people. They are not fighting for our freedom. They are actually destabilizing the world. They're causing chaos. They're not causing the spread of democracy, which, let's be real, people, we were never designed to be a democracy. We were designed to be a constitutional republic with democratic values and systems. Okay? So, let's quit with this. They're destroying our democracy. We know the people that keep claiming that are the ones actually destroying this country, okay? So their democracy and their viewpoint is a globalist democracy that they control, which is actually code for world tyranny, people. Has nothing to do with freedom, the Constitution, or anything positive for the United States or any other country on earth. Unfortunately, people, I'm already at work. I got to go. I mean, I want to carry this. I could rant about this for hours and hours. I'm probably going to add on to this tomorrow. But we all need to take a look in the mirror. And if you're one of those people looking in the mirror right now and you work for one of these corporations, if you're in one of these military positions and you're censoring your fellow man, or you're involved in these insane wars overseas, if you're one of these people that's willing to stab your fellow man in the back just for a few dollars, for your retirement, for your security, to buy a new home or to go on a trip, you're scum. You're a psychopath, and you're basically excrement. So I know this is a kind of a mean-hearted video, folks, but just look at what's going on around us, and I don't understand how anybody can't be furious with what we're seeing. And the corruption is so deep. I mean, it's at all levels. I guarantee you, go to one of your kids' school board members or school boards, and just go watch how these people act that are on these boards. Just go watch these people. Go to a city council meeting. Look at these people, analyze them, and you'll see what I mean. The corruption is deep, people. Very deep. And people, we are getting, I mean, right now, as a country, as a whole, I'm not saying most people are good people, but as a whole, we are kind of getting what we deserve right now, because we've allowed these disgusting people to rule us. We've allowed the corruption to get deep. We've allowed the love of money and immorality to overtake us all. As a whole, I'm speaking, not individually per se, though I'd say we all have things to work on personally. Anyways, folks, hey, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys, and I will talk to you later.